Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today, well this week, I just really felt like I wanted to go to the theatre. As it is with most weeks, let's be real. And I wanted to see something new, but something cheap. So I actually went on to TodayTix this morning and entered to get rush tickets for the Wild Party. And I really should have filmed that to put in the vlog, but I didn't do that. So anyway, I'm heading to the other palace tonight. It's my first time going there since it was the St. James Theatre, which you may know that I adored. So I'm really excited to see what they've done with the place and obviously to see the show. Hello everyone, obviously I'm home now and as usual it's the next day. Yeah, so I went to see the Wild Party last night at the other palace. First of all, it was really fun to visit one of my old favourite theatres, the St. James, which is now the other palace. I really like what they've done with the place. It looks really cool. It's not obviously changed too much. It's not like they've torn bits of the building out and completely changed it, but it's definitely got a different vibe now. It definitely feels a lot younger and like it wants to cater to a younger audience, which is fine. I don't mean like child's audience, but a more kind of progressive modern audience. Not to say that older people are not progressive, but I think that's just the way they're going with the whole theatre and the stuff they want to put on there. I went to see the Wild Party absolutely not knowing a thing about what was going to happen. I knew that Frances Ruffelle, is that how you say her surname? I knew that she starred in it, and John Owen Jones, and a couple of other names that I recognise, including obviously Victoria Hamilton-Barrett, who is just incredible. She is amazing, and Tiffany Graves and Lizzie Connolly, who I recently saw in Once in a Lifetime in January. Overall, it was a phenomenal cast. Literally everywhere you looked there was like someone that you know, someone that you've heard of, as well as people that I recognise the names of or had seen on stage before. There were a couple of new faces that I personally had not seen before, and honestly the whole cast were just phenomenal. They were insane. I feel like I say this with like every time I visit the other palace, even though every time I visited it before it's been the St. James, but I love what they do with the stage and the sets, because I've seen loads of stuff there now and every time it's totally different, and I'm like, how have they done that? Like, I didn't think that they could use the stage in that way, but I loved the set for this. I'm not sure when the Wild Party set. Let me do some research. I should have done this before the video. I want to say it was in like the 1920s or something. 1928, so it's the 1920s, and it definitely has that look and feel to it. I loved like the big dramatic lights that they had, kind of I guess off stage in a sense, but they were in a little sort of cave that they had, and they were so bright, and they created these amazing kind of silhouettes and things, and just the whole color palette really fit that kind of time and color scheme, and it really transported you there. The show's set in New York, and as well they had stairs on one side of the stage at the back, and the way that they put the stairs there, it kind of reminded me of, you know, how loads of New York apartments have the fire escape stairs, and that's how I read that. I didn't read it as stairs within the house, I read it as like fire escape stairs. I don't know if they were going for that, but that's how I saw it. As you can tell by the title, The Wild Party, the show is about a big party that the main character Queenie puts on with her husband Buzz. So obviously Queenie is played by Frances Ruffelle and Buzz is played by John Owen Jones. They were both so good together. I say good, but their characters don't always get along. However, just the way they sort of reacted to each other constantly, their time on stage was intense, very intense, and at one point of the show, towards the end, my anxiety levels were like, it was, yeah, very intense. The show was really interesting in that you got to see everyone's story in this crazy party. And with the pace of it at the start of the show, I honestly didn't know how it was going to go, what was going to happen, but it felt like there were little twists and turns everywhere. The music numbers were insane. I felt like you rarely got like a moment to pause and be like, whew, like a moment to collect yourself before another big musical number was happening. And in a way that's a pro and a con, because personally for me, I've come out of it not really remembering a whole song as such. I'm remembering like snippets of each one because it feels like there were so many. I think this is definitely a really good show for the Other Palace to reopen with. I think it does set a tone for the direction that they're going in as a whole. I don't really think that they've had something like this before, because at moments it's really fun and then it gets really serious really quickly. And yeah, just it reminded me, obviously because of the time, of like reading The Great Gatsby and obviously watching The Great Gatsby as well. Still now I'm just floored by the cast because they were so incredible. And obviously I've just said that I couldn't really remember all of the musical numbers, but I can explicitly remember what happens to each character, and I think that's quite incredible for a show to make you notice and like almost engage with every character and their story and their feelings and their outcomes. That's quite a feat, I think. And definitely at times you are seriously feeling for these characters. You're like, oh god, I would not want to be in your shoes right now. There's still a few weeks left of the show, so I don't really want to spoil you on the plot, but I feel like at the start I wasn't really enamored with it, and then by the end I was like, oh my god, that was really good. Like, it was a shocker, and I think that's a good thing about it, because obviously it's a wild party. You don't know what's going to happen, and even until the very end you are like left in suspense. It's almost like a thriller of a show. I don't mean thriller as in the show like the Michael Jackson tribute, but I mean like a thriller, like, oh, what is happening? I really can't wait to see what else is going on at the Other Palace. Obviously they have the main theatre space and the studio space, and there's just so much going on. You can check out on the website what's coming up. So I think there'll be lots of exciting things happening at the Other Palace. As I mentioned, it's one of my favourite venues, so I do recommend that you check it out anyway. And it's just beautiful in there. It was beautiful before and now it's even more beautiful. I mean, did you see all those Edison bulbs? Oh, I'm a sucker for Edison bulbs, so when I was approaching the theatre I was literally like it's also just a really cool place to hang out. I mean, I've definitely got some work done in the day there on my laptop in the restaurant space, so yeah, I'd recommend you just check it out anyway. Please do let me know if you've been to see the Wild Party or just been to the Other Palace since it's a refurb. I would love to know your opinions, as always. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me in the future. I hope you're doing really well, and I will see you very soon. Bye!